On April 16, 2019, the SEIU-West membership voted on the tentative agreement reached between SEIU-West and the provider unions and SEIU. SEIU-West members rejected the tentative agreement. The main reason for this rejection was that the monetary package was not sufficient. We met to bargain until it was clear that SEIU had no authority or mandate from the government of Saskatchewan to address the monetary issue. In December 2019, members provided an overwhelming vote for job action while we continued to bargain, including voluntary mediation. Talks broke down after we tabled a proposal to SEIU that included proposals to ensure members received an increase in the monetary package. Our proposal did not include changing our seniority system. On May 22, 2020, at the last face-to-face meeting we had, SEIU did the virtual equivalent of walking out of the room and slamming the door. They said they did not want to talk with us and abruptly shut down the video conference.
So what happens next?
We're going to take you through the first step, impasse, a situation in which no progress is possible.
What does that mean for bargaining?
When either the employer or the union decide they are at a point in collective bargaining where a collective agreement cannot be achieved the usual way at the bargaining table, either party can send a notice of impasse to the other party and to the Minister of Labour. The notice has to set out the essential services that, in the opinion of the sending party, need to be maintained during a strike. 3 days after receiving the notice, the other party has to respond with their opinion of the essential services that need to be maintained. Providing this notice is a fairly significant undertaking, and we want to get it right. This is why SEIU-West has been gathering information from our members, identifying what and where essential services would need to be maintained.
What happens once a notice of impasse has been sent?
When the Minister of Labour receives a notice of impasse, the Minister must appoint a Labour Relations Officer, a special mediator, or a Board of Conciliation. These folks have up to 60 days to try to determine if the outstanding disputes between the parties can be settled. If not, the Labour Relations Officer, the Special Mediator, or Board of Conciliation, as the case may be, reports no deal to the Minister of Labour. Then, after a 7-day cooling off period, the union can take job action, but only after giving the employer 48 hours notice and only where there is an essential services agreement in effect.
What is the difference between a Labour Relations Officer, a Special Mediator, and a Board of Conciliation?
Not much. They all must try to assist the parties to reach a collective agreement and then report to the minister if they are unsuccessful. A Labour Relations Officer is an employee of the Ministry of Labour. Special mediators, 1 person, and members of boards of conciliation, usually 3 people, are not employees but experts who are engaged to deal with a specific dispute.
What do they actually do?
The Labour Relations Officer, a special mediator, or a Board of Conciliation appointed by the Ministry of Labour Relations, meets with each side, SEIU and SEIU-West, usually separately at first to find out a bit of history on bargaining, what has been agreed between the parties, and what are the issues in dispute. Then they set up meetings with each side, sometimes in different rooms in the same building, or sometimes via teleconference calls, and shuttle back and forth between the 2 sides. Where the parties agree, they may meet together with a Labour Relations Officer, a Special Mediator, or a Board of Conciliation. The goal is to find out if there is common ground between the parties, and if there is, push or encourage the 2 sides to compromise on their positions to reach agreement. The Labour Relations Officer, a Special Mediator, or a Board of Conciliation may make recommendations to the parties to reach a deal. If there are no recommendations made, or if recommendations made are not agreed to by either or both of the parties, or if the conclusion is the parties are too far apart for any agreement to be made, that information will be presented to the Minister of Labour.
Have we already given a notice of impasse so we can get started with mediation?
SEIU-West sent letters to SEIU, the SHA, the Premier, and government officials regarding SEIU's refusal to respond to our bargaining proposals and the near state of impasse. We continue to work on our essential services proposal.
What can I do to make sure the government takes our job action seriously?
Things like letters to the Premier, information pickets, letters to the editor can all be done prior to taking job action. While writing letters has resulted in form letter responses, we encourage you to keep writing and talk to your neighbours in the community about the conditions in healthcare. We'll be sharing more ways to get active in this process, and if you have any ideas you'd like to participate in, email actions@seiuwest.ca.
Thanks for the information.